The movie begins with us zooming out from two skeletons lying on the dirt. The location is Yugoslavia in 1985. A doctor informs a detective that 2 workers found 4 bodies in a state of decay. To the doctor, it looks like an old Turkish graveyard, and the skeletons look 300 years old. But the corpses are not sufficiently decomposed. The doctor says one of the workers accidentally on a skeleton. By the time the medical personnel arrived, the man was already deceased. The detective looks at the lifeless man lying in a gurney. As he is talking to the doctor, we see the lifeless man now standing. He looks like a zombie and seems to approach them. However, we don't see how it unfolds. The scene changes to a train station in Serbia, where a train conductor talks to a policeman. An elderly man interrupts them to say the train to Romania is running late. The conductor gives him the bad news that it just passed through. The officer says the trains are not stopping today due to a military exercise. The elderly man wants to use his cell phone, which he is told will not work. The exercise has rendered cell phones non-operational. Thus, the conductor takes him inside to use the landline. In the meantime, the officer sees 3 people walking his way. He informs them the station is closed. Not listening to him, the trio keeps walking until they are close to him. They are wearing military outfits and they start to misbehave. Then we see a state prison. A woman named Mina is there. The guards open a cell containing a special prisoner for her. One guard tells him to get out, but he doesn't go, so he gets treated disrespectfully. The guards start taking him and a fight ensues. The tough man manages to beat both of them. This prompts Mina to point her gun at him, saying there are police outside the building. The prisoner raises his hands over his head. Switching to the elderly man, he wants to call his wife regarding the situation. Once the conductor goes outside, we see a biohazard train has arrived. He starts talking to a man wearing a biohazard suit. Soon one of the military people takes the officer's gun away. In the process of him trying to take it back, the gun fires into the man in the suit. Another bullet lands into a sensitive part of the train, causing it to release dangerous green gas. It covers the area, and the policeman enters the building to get a gas mask for himself and the elderly man. Alas, the officer has already contacted the gas. Therefore, he starts to vomit on the floor. Seeing how important this is, the elderly man puts on the gas mask without hesitation. Moving along, Mina meets with her co-worker. She sees 2 officers walking with the troublesome inmate and they look at each other. He gets put in the back of a vehicle. Mina mentions a man named Mortimer Reyes to her partner. As she says he is a living legend, we see the man sitting in a house. We learn he used to be in the CIA, in addition to having joined Interpol 20 years ago. Mortimer looks at a framed photo of a woman. Then a man enters the house of about the same age. Mortimer tells him this is his last case before he retires. Everything has to be finished tomorrow morning. He can't be late and wants to leave on time. Concerning the house, Mortimer says he has many memories of it. Everything inside reminds him of a certain woman. His friend Dragan says, "It's time to say goodbye." Back to the elderly man. He removes his gas mask because he thinks the poison is gone. He sees the policeman who was lying on the floor isn't there anymore. A streak of blood is there instead. Soon he sees the officer stand, but does not see his face in the shadow. When he reveals himself to be a zombie, the elderly man gets scared. He rushes outside and sees the others are zombies too. The next scene shows us a church. A man walks nearby, having a nun come to him. She says he knows he can't leave his cell until the demons inside him leave. His excuse for being out is that the door was open. The nun tells him she was attacked by a man. Seeing her vomit makes him say a passage from the Bible. Once she throws herself at him, he deals with her. He sees the zombie she was referring to. He runs at the healthy man, only to get dealt with too. The skilled fighter has to quote another Bible passage for his victory. Afterward, Mortimer meets Mina, who says she is glad to have met him. She says she read his file, and he says the most interesting parts to him are not in the file. Mortimer says this assignment is simple. All they have to do is escort the prisoner to Belgrade. From there, they transport him by plane to London. Since he sees Mina is nervous, he assures her everything will be fine. Following this, we see the presidential palace. A woman walks over to the president to say everything is going according to plan. Then we see the main crew riding, and Mortimer says he read Mina's file too. She came highly recommended by the academy. The lady says she's unstoppable with a laptop, but she doesn't know about her using a gun. Mortimer tells her he has been doing this job for over 20 years. However, he needed to remove his gun from its holster, merely twice. Dragan is interested to know who the prisoner is, and why they are moving him at night. Mina replies the file on him is very unclear. Mortimer says the data on the man is strictly classified. The driver Petrovich doesn't like that this mission is being run by a rookie. Mina looks at him without saying a word. In the next scene, we are introduced to more characters. Arriving somewhere, their car seems to lose power. They see the unusual sight of zombies walking behind them. Shifting to the elderly man, he approaches the fighter from the church. He tells the fighter they have to run, and we see zombies heading toward them. The fighter says this is the beginning of Armageddon. He takes out 2 guns to shoot down the zombies. Running away isn't for him. After he deals with them, he says, "Cut off the serpent's head and the body will perish." An accurate quote about how to properly deal with zombies. The elderly man jumps on the car of the new people, telling them to save him. Seeing what the zombies are doing prompts all of them to panic, thus they run away. Back to the president, he gets a visit from the chief of the FBI. The president asks him what is Operation Black Smoke. The chief answers it has been running for decades. More than 20 years ago, they discovered a strange phenomenon in the industrial zone of Pančevo on the bones of ancient plague victims. The chief says the plague changes when it is exposed to sufficient amounts of ammonia and gasoline. It brings lifeless cells back to life. Then the team arrives at Pančevo. It doesn't take long for them to ride into a zombie, which forces them to stop. Mortimer exits the truck to see who they hit. Dragan joins him to learn the person they hit is deceased. Mortimer instructs Petrovich to contact the local police. Soon they see a few kids running out of a building while screaming in fear. The agents take out their guns, meaning this is Mortimer's third time doing it in his career. Petrovich informs them he can't reach the police due to static. The agents enter the building and see it's a mess inside. A zombie presents himself to them, causing Dragan to shoot him with a non-lethal bullet. He tells his partner they have to leave, so they return to the car. Once another zombie runs at them, they ride out of there. They arrive at a place where they see the vehicle that is transferring the prisoner parked irregularly on the side of the road. Mortimer orders Petrovich to contact anyone. He does not care who. The agents draw near the vehicle and Mortimer sees the driver is deceased. He says they have to transfer the prisoner into their car. The agents shoot down a few zombies that appear. Mortimer informs the prisoner they have to transfer him. He tells the man not to do anything stupid. When Dragan opens the back door, the prisoner advises them to aim for the head. Another zombie comes at them and Dragan does exactly that. He sees the prisoner wasn't lying. After he exits the vehicle, they see zombies everywhere. Mortimer says they have to find the local police station. In a short time, an officer zombie bites Petrovich before running away. The prisoner yells for them to shoot Petrovich in the head. He is the only one who understands what a zombie bite can do, but he gets told to be silent. Petrovich runs away too for some reason. Dragan tells his partner to release the prisoner. Nashin Mortimer does not want to take. Yet he gets Mina to undo the chains restraining the man's legs. Then they get ambushed by zombies and Dragan gets bitten. A zombie jumps on Mina to bring her down. The person who saves her is none other than the prisoner. He uses her gun to shoot the zombie. Mortimer orders him to return the gun to its owner. Seeing that Dragan got bitten, the prisoner says he will become a zombie. He drops the gun and Mortimer threatens him with violence if he does that again. Subsequently, they retreat into a building where they lock themselves in. Once Mortimer tries to use a phone, he realizes the lines are down. He asks Mina if she can contact the base in Belgrade. She says there is no power, so they will have to find a generator. The prisoner says the speed of the transformation depends on the severity of the bite. He claims to know this because he has great instincts. Mina is curious about where everyone vanished. The prisoner thinks they either got eaten or infected. This makes Mortimer point his gun at the pessimistic man, saying he should speak only when spoken to. Addressing Mina, he says he will inspect the area with Dragan. He adds if the prisoner moves, she should take his life. Mina says she gladly will. Moving along, the agents check a certain room, and Mortimer says everything was taken. They venture downstairs, where they find a living man. He is Jan, the one from the car with the two young women. The elderly man is also there, sitting in a cell. He tells Mortimer he is a professor who used to work in the library. The agent assures him they will find a safe place. Exiting the cell, the professor says he didn't get a chance to inform his wife not to wait for him. Soon they all come to Mina with the prisoner. The professor says he ran into an odd soldier who told him Armageddon was drawing near. He thinks the soldier was right. Switching to the man in question, we see him holding a shotgun. Lifeless zombies surround him, meaning he most likely brought them to that state. He approaches a vehicle that has an assortment of weapons and uses one of them to destroy another zombie. This seems too easy for him. At the building, Mortimer looks at the map of the place to locate the generator room. Then the prisoner tells Mina he saved her life outside, therefore he expects gratitude from her. She says she thanked him. He guesses this is her first case, before he says he is a stranger in a strange land. The man believes he has been all his life. Mina replies he talks too much. Following this, we observe the ugly infection on Dragan's hand as he washes it in the sink. He tells Mortimer that the prisoner was right, and he sadly won't be going with his friend. Seeing Mortimer hold a bottle of pills, Dragan says he thought the former quit taking them. Mortimer says he tried, but they are all that keep him sane. Once they return to the others, the prisoner says Dragan doesn't have much more time left. Jan says if he has been infected, he should be shot. Mortimer yells for him not to say that. Afterward, he removes the handcuffs from the prisoner, freeing him completely. He even gives him a gun and says this isn't the wild, wild west. The prisoner retorts for him to look outside. Mortimer quietly tells Mina to watch Dragan, for he is getting worse. He starts to go to the generator room with the prisoner and Jan. The third man's job is to stay near a door while the other two descend. Mortimer tells the prisoner if he tries anything, he will take his life. He will purposefully shoot him in the heart so he can return as a zombie. During their exploration of the generator room, they find a living disembodied head. The prisoner says that since the brain is alive, the head still is. Mortimer asks him how he knows all this, and the prisoner answers, it's due to his father being in Chernobyl in 1986. In the meantime, Dragan tells Mina she is just starting this job. He says this job can possess a man. It can become an obsession. He advises her not to let it happen to her like it happened to Mortimer. An accident ruined his partner's life. Instead of him taking his wife, she went by herself to the train where she fell onto the tracks. Dragan repeats to Mina not to let this job obsess her too much. Soon he begins to suffer immensely from his infection and tells her to take, yet she can't bring herself to do it, causing him to lose consciousness. He regains it as a zombie, which forces her to shoot him. In the basement, Mortimer finds the control panel. The prisoner gives it a good kick for it to become operational. The lights turn on, allowing them to see many lifeless policemen. Then misfortune strikes the duo in the form of numerous zombies, breaking through a garage door. They start firing at the horde while trying to escape. When a zombie brings Mortimer down, his new partner saves him. He says Mortimer owes him one. They arrive at the door Jan was supposed to be standing near, but it is locked. Thankfully, Jan opens it in time. At the entrance to the building, they see many zombies have gathered behind the glass, wanting to get in. They manage to break the glass and start entering the building. The trio gets inside the room where everyone is. Mortimer finds his deceased friend, prompting Mina to apologize to him. The man says she did what she had to do. The group barricades the room quite well. Mina informs Mortimer that although the system is functional, the external link does not work. She thinks it could have been shut down by Central. In a short time, Mina sees a live security camera that shows them a vehicle riding outside. The one who was driving it is the soldier with many weapons. He enters the building, and many zombies follow him inside, but he closes a gate on them before he shoots two others in his way. He quotes another passage from the Bible. Subsequently, he finds a man who isn't a zombie, and asks him if he can operate the machinery there. He believes it's time they announce what is happening to the world. Soon the group sees him talking on the security camera. The professor recognizes him. The soldier says the devil came down on them with great wrath. He also claims that in such days, people shall seek their demise, yet they will not find it. He speaks with a prophetic voice. The only way is to fire the serpent in the head. One of the ladies becomes hysterical and tries to escape. Despite her friend trying to stop her, she partially undoes the barricade, causing the zombies to start entering. The crazed lady allows them to take her life. The prisoner jumps into the scene like an action hero to fire at the horde that is squeezing through. Then he breaks a window with a chair, yelling to the group that they must escape. The professor doesn't want to leave. He says they have been observing the decline of civilization for decades. Now the end is upon them, and it is all their fault. Mortimer tells the man his wife is still waiting for him. However, the professor says he forgot that she perished 10 days ago. As the others are escaping through the window, he tells Mortimer there are far worse things than what is currently happening to them. One of them is to return in zombie form. Once the zombies are nearby, Mortimer shoots the professor to prevent him from suffering. The next scene has the group outside, where it is already daylight. Mortimer says they should take a boat to Belgrade. They all realize they are low on ammo. The prisoner says they have enough time to exit the city before the authorities contain them. He adds the nuclear disaster in Chernobyl was a conscious decision. Those who perished by the gas came back to life. Mina asks him what happened to his dad, and he says the man perished twice. Afterward, the group arrives at a place where many zombies are lying on the ground for an unknown reason. To Mina, it looks like they are sleeping. Mortimer now thinks the prisoner is the expert, so he asks him what he thinks this is. Alas, when he is finally given the spotlight to speak, he says he does not know because this never happened in Chernobyl. Moving along, Mortimer goes over their plan. He tells Mina it would be a shame if she did not succeed on her first case. Then he shares a short story from his distant past. He remembers a crazy man in his neighborhood who was saying odd things. One of them was that hell is going to overflow, and the deceased will rise forever. With that prophetic line delivered, Mortimer begins to walk carefully through the dozens of lying zombies. While he does, a zombie in a biohazard suit appears. He emits a terrifying roar, awakening all the zombies. Mortimer tries to run away from the zombies that surround him. The others also start to run. Mortimer runs out of ammo and collects a metal stick to fight with. Mina orders the gang to go to the river, where they will wait for her and Mortimer. Since this is going against the main man's plan, the prisoner says she is disobeying an order. He decides to join her in the rescue of Mortimer. The leader is walking inside the train we saw at the start of the film. He is in a narrow area and gets surrounded by zombies from both sides. Thus he closes himself in the nearby room. Once Jan approaches the boat with his friend, he gets inside to start riding away alone. For some twisted reason, he does not wait even for his friend. The lady sees one of the zombies walking toward her is the friend that allowed the zombies to claim her. Fortunately, the soldier arrives to save her. He shoots the zombies down. The rest of the group heads over to him, and he says he has plenty of weapons for everyone. The prisoner gets a sword to show off how cool he is. On the train, Mortimer throws his pills away. Soon we see Mina blasting zombies away with a shotgun, whilst the prisoner is slicing them with the sword. Mortimer pulls down the window, but the zombies get the door to open. One of them tries to take him, only to get the man's jacket instead. We witness a lot of action with the group firing at the zombies. Mortimer makes it outside, and the officer zombie jumps on him. The prisoner is there to help by giving Mortimer a gun. The agent uses it to save himself. Now remains the last zombie of this horde. It is the one in the biohazard suit. The prisoner is the one to take this victory by decapitating the special zombie. With all that done, Mortimer asks Mina if she disobeyed his order. She answers she found the instructions unclear. He asks what part of her running away without stopping did she find lacking in clarity. All of it, she says. The leader gives her a new order to finish the mission with the prisoner. Therefore, she draws close to him, and the latter says she has 2 guns, whereas he just has a sword. She lets him know her guns are empty. Due to this, he says her first assignment will have to be uncompleted. He adds, perhaps, one day, they will meet again. Mina doubts this. Coming back to Mortimer, she tells him the prisoner disappeared, yet the boss is not disappointed about it. He says his first assignment was a complete disaster. Then a zombie appears and Mina shoots him down, proving she did have ammo. Mortimer congratulates her on a job well done. As they walk away together, she asks him who the prisoner is, to which he replies the man is no one special. The film concludes with the soldier reciting another quote from the Bible.